Imagine every piece of your identity being taken from you: your home, your family, your name, and your basic dignity. If all of that disappeared tomorrow, would your life still have any meaning? In 1944, a psychiatrist from Vienna named Viktor Frankl was forced to answer that question while imprisoned in Auschwitz. Upon his arrival, his external world was erased. His pregnant wife, his parents, and his brother were taken. The guards replaced his clothes with a striped uniform and his name with a number tattooed into his skin. Within this environment, Frankl identified an internal survival mechanism, a specific psychological approach to resilience that sustained him through his imprisonment. Before the war, Vienna served as the epicenter of modern psychological thought, and it was here that Frankl's ideas began to take shape. Sigmund Freud was the dominant figure of the era, teaching that human beings are primarily driven by the pursuit of pleasure. Alfred Adler offered a different view, proposing that our deepest motivation is the pursuit of power and social significance. Frankl challenged both mentors. He argued the primary human drive is man's search for meaning, the need to find a specific purpose for one's existence. He called his framework logotherapy, a method focused on helping patients identify and pursue a unique sense of meaning. Frankl had established this theoretical foundation for psychological endurance just before the Holocaust provided the most extreme test imaginable. Frankl's life collapsed with his deportation. Passing through these gates marked the end of his career, his status, and his personal safety. The camp system was designed to systematically strip away human identity, reducing individuals to numbers in an industrial machine. For Frankl, this included the loss of his life's work. He had hidden a manuscript on logotherapy in his coat, but guards found it and threw it away. Prisoners faced freezing labor, starvation rations, and the constant presence of death. The scale of the camp ensured that every external comfort was removed. Frankl was left in a state of total physical powerlessness, leaving his mind as the only territory the guards could not directly control. While observing his fellow prisoners, Frankl noticed something that physical health alone couldn't explain. Some of the most physically robust men died quickly, while certain frail prisoners survived for months. He concluded that the primary variable for survival was psychological. Those who endured were often those who still possessed a concrete reason to live. To endure forced marches and exhaustion, Frankl practiced a mental retreat. He focused intently on the memory of his wife, visualizing her face and holding internal conversations with her. This experience led to his defining realization: the last human freedom. No matter what is taken from a person, they retain the ability to choose their own attitude in any given set of circumstances. He also used future-oriented goals to survive, imagining himself standing before an audience years later, lecturing on the psychological lessons he was learning in the camp. By anchoring himself to a purpose beyond the wire, Frankl built an internal structure of freedom that allowed him to survive until liberation. Upon his liberation in 1945, Frankl discovered that his family, including his wife and parents, had been murdered. He returned to Vienna nearly alone. Rather than succumbing to bitterness, he urgently began documenting his observations. He dictated his lost manuscript from memory in just 9 days. That work became Man's Search for Meaning. It has since sold over 10 million copies and been translated into dozens of languages. Frankl's central argument was that if life has meaning, then suffering must have meaning as well, as it is an unavoidable part of the human experience. He spent the rest of his life teaching this framework to students and patients around the world, making the lecture halls of his camp-time visions a reality. Logotherapy moved from a theory to a validated system of resilience, providing a psychological tool for a world recovering from total war. Most of us will never experience the extremes of a concentration camp, but the feelings of loss, failure, and despair are universal. Frankl's philosophy suggests that finding meaning does not remove the pain of these experiences. Instead, it ensures that the pain does not have the final say in our future. He viewed hope as the conscious decision that your personal narrative remains unfinished, regardless of the current chapter. If the external comforts of your life were removed tomorrow, what internal purpose would you have left to hold on to? Viktor Frankl's life proves that while we cannot always choose what happens to us, we always retain the freedom to choose who we become in response.